In this video, I'm going to show you how to take apart your sink trap to clean out your sink drain. Maybe you lost an earring or a ring down your sink drain and needed to take it apart to get that out. Or maybe your sink drain is completely clogged up. Either way, I'm going to show you how to take this apart, clean it out, and put it back together. Now, a couple things you're going to need to complete this project. You're going to need a large bowl to fit underneath your P-trap. I highly recommend you have some plumber's grease because we're going to put some grease on the threads of these fittings. If you don't have plumber's grease, Vaseline will also work. You're going to need some paper towels. I'm going to push paper towels down through the sink drain to push out the clog. And you're going to need something to push the paper towel down. If you have a really long screwdriver, that works. Something that's a good 12-14 inches long, you can push the paper towel down all the way through to clean out the inside of that drain. So if you take a look underneath the sink, we're going to need to loosen up this nut and this nut to remove this section of the drain. Now here on the back side of the tailstock, we're going to need to loosen this nut right here. This has this rod running through it, and the rod is going into the stopper on the top side of the sink. So we're going to need to remove this and pull it straight out, and then we can lift out the stopper. And when you go to pull this out, there's going to be a little washer right inside here. Just make sure that that stays in there, or if you do pull it out, make sure that goes back in. You should be able to see it right there. And now with that out of the way, you can lift your stopper up and out. This is where I just wad up some paper towels, and I'm going to push them down through the drain, and that's going to push out all the sludge. So you can push it down in there as much as you can with your fingers, and then use something to push it down all the way through. And now go ahead and reach underneath and pull the rest of that paper towel through. And then go ahead and do that one more time just to get the last parts of the residue out. So now the second time you pull your paper towel through, it should be pretty well clean, getting all of that nasty sludge out of your drain. Now if you did happen to drop an earring or a ring down your drain, it's going to be somewhere down inside here, and then you can just dump this out and your ring or earring should fall right out into your hand. Now that your tailstock is all cleaned out, we're going to go ahead and use paper towels to clean out this as well. Now before we put this back together, make sure that all these threads are nice and clean. Sometimes you get a little bit of hair clogged up in there. We'll go around the threads with a paper towel and make sure all the threads are nice and clean. Well, I put a little bit of plumber's grease, or if you have Vaseline, that'll also work, right around the inside lip and around the threads. Now it's time for a reinstall. So this is where it's important that you don't cross thread this. You're going to want to thread this one back here first, because this one back here is stationary, where this kind of slides up and down a little bit. So you're going to want to take your time getting those nuts started on those plastic threads so that you don't cross thread it. Now with the grease on there, these should thread on very easily. Don't make this super tight. You just want it a little bit snug, and then we're going to tighten up this one. Now go ahead and start to tighten this one here. Same thing, make sure this is threading on nice and easy. If it's hard at all, you're probably cross-threading it. You have both of them snug. Go ahead and give each one about a quarter to a half turn. Do not use any tools tightening these up, just tighten these by hand. To reinstall that stopper rod, and I put a little bit of plumber's grease on this ball right here before we insert the stopper rod. When we reinstall this stopper rod, that rod inside your tailstock is actually going to go through the hole or you may have a slot on your stopper. So you kind of need to put this stopper in at the top and line up the rod so that it goes through this hole at the same time. Now if anything's going to get cross-threaded in this process, it's probably this right here. Take extra time in making sure that this is lined up and going on straight. Put a little bit of lubricant on those threads and go ahead and tighten this up. Hand tight only, do not use any tools on that either. And now go ahead and turn on your faucet. Let it run for about 20 seconds and then we're going to check for leaks. All around under your cabinet, feel underneath your drain and make sure that there's no water leaking anywhere. If there is, you can probably just snug up these two nuts a little bit and try it again. I wouldn't put anything back underneath your sink for an hour, so come back in about an hour and double check. If there's nothing underneath there then go ahead and put your towels or whatever it is back underneath your sink. After you've checked under here for any water leaks after about an hour and it's nice and dry, go ahead and put everything back underneath there and call this project done. Congratulations on cleaning out your own sink drain. Hope you found this helpful and informational, and thanks for watching.